All right. So here we are talking about password safety and how to remain safe online. I'm going to show you a couple things. pwpasswordsafe.org. This is a great secure password manager that encrypts your password database so that no one can get into it but you without one password. And then you can have all of your passwords saved inside this encrypted file. So if you have, like me, a couple dozen accounts and you can't remember the password for them all, you don't want to use the same password on everything. Don't do that. That's bad. Someone compromises you, they know all your information, they have your password and your normal name that you probably use over and over for your username. You're toast. They're going to get into all your stuff, and that's just not a good thing. So if you go to pwsafe.org, you can download the password manager that I use, which is made by a actual cryptographer, a guy that is extremely knowledgeable in cryptography. His name is Bruce Snyder. He's a writer and an author and a computer security expert, and this guy has designed Password Safe. And there's some clones to it that are official clones that he recognizes for Android and Apple iOS and Mac, and I even believe there's a port for Linux out there, even though it's not on this page. So you go ahead and I'm on a Windows machine. You go ahead and download the version of Windows download the file for the version of Windows in which you have. So you either have a 64-bit version of Windows, which is what most machines are today, or you have a 32-bit, which could be a tablet or an older machine. And you can find that out very simply by going to System. Right-click on Start System, and it'll tell you right here what your operating system is. You can also right-click on My Computer or Computer, and you can, or I think it says My PC in 10. Let's look. This PC. So you can right click on this PC and say Properties, and you get the same information. 64-bit. Looks a little different in the Creators Update, but that's fine. Let's go back here to our reliable browser, which is Google Chrome. I love it. And you don't save passwords in your browser. If you've done that, you've made a mistake. Somebody compromises your machine. You now have all of your passwords saved in your browser, and I don't do that, as you can see. So you go to Password Safe, pwsafe.org, .org, and you can download the copy of the installer for the version of Windows you have. So if you have a 64-bit Windows, do this one. 32-bit, do that one. Older machine, do that one, and install it. You may have to right click on it and say Run as Administrator. I've already downloaded it. I've already installed it. I'm just going to show you. It already has a shield, so it should run as administrator already. Yes, it does. I'm not going to say yes because it would walk me through setting it up, and that's simple. Anybody who's anybody can set up a program like that. It walks you through default locations, boom, 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 accept all that stuff, and you're on your way. Now you got yourself a shortcut in your start menu. Password Safe, I made one down here. I pinned it to my tray. I already made a new database, but if you're starting fresh, you're going to have to hit New, and you're going to have to name it. In this particular case, I named mine Test. Okay, so I'm going to open my test database. When I originally set the new up, let's do another one here. Test 2. You have to put in a safe combination, because if you don't have a combination, your safe isn't locked, right? And you want to make it complex. You don't want to make it something simple. You want to make it hard for people to possibly guess. You want to spell things wrong. You want to put special characters in. You want to put in numbers. You want to put in symbols. And make your password as hard to break as you possibly can. Use at least 8 characters. So numbers, capital letters, misspelled words, and symbols. You only have to remember one password now. You don't have to remember the 24 accounts that you have, because you can put them all inside of Password Safe, which you will then be able to email that file to yourself, save it on your device, and open it up with Password Safe from Android or Apple iOS, Even Windows Phone has a port of this, the last I knew. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to close this because I've already made, well, no, let's start from here. Let's say I want to make a new group. And in this case, we're going to call this websites. And we'll make another new group. We're going to call this banking. And then I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to open up my other password safe that I have already started. And let's go back to test. So I'm opening up the one I made earlier, and as you can see, I can't put anything in and expect it to open. I have to use the actual password that I used to create it. So I got my banking and my websites in there. To make a new entry, all I have to do is right click and say add entry. So add entry. I'm going to name it something, I'll show you what I did here for Yahoo. I went ahead and I right clicked on websites, said add entry, and I had this window popped up, which I populated. You can choose a different group to here, but obviously I clicked the right one. You can name whatever you want. The title doesn't matter. It's just for you to reference. Put in your username, put in your password. You can even use the program to generate a password for you. See this? It generates an actual secure password, and you don't have to remember it. That's the beautiful part about password safe. Type in whatever your login page is. So in this particular case, I went ahead and I navigated to the mail login. You go into Yahoo, so I went to Yahoo, and I went ahead over here and I clicked mail, and it took me to the website. So then I clicked up here to highlight it, and I copied it and I pasted it in here. See? And when I saved it, you can put whatever you want, or you don't have to have anything in there. You can leave that blank. Actually, I'm going to leave it blank just to show you that it's possible. Then you go over here to additional features, and you want to change your double click action. I do not use browse the URL on auto type because not all sites support it. You'll have trouble, and the browser will seem to have hung up because some sites have certain security features enabled that will not allow those types of things to occur. So I just set it to browse the URL, and I copy and paste my stuff. I'm going to say OK, and we'll go ahead and we'll close that to show you that it opens. So double click it, opens up your login page, right click, copy your username, right click, and I set mine up to be on top all the time. I like it that way. Show you that in a second. Right click, paste, or you can Control V for paste on the keyboard, hit next, right click, copy password, Control V again, and sign in. It's not going to let me because it's obviously not a valid account. Same thing with my bank. I made a banking site, and put all my stuff in there. It actually is a mybank.com. So when I double click this, it's going to take me to mybank.com. I can click personal, whatever, and right click, put my username in there, and continue. And like I said on this one, it shows that you have a secondary security. So your bank might ask you to put in your favorite color. There might be a question that you have to answer, and as long as there's one, it's easy to do. Multiples, optional ones, you may have to open up the actual entry and click in here. But let's say in this particular case, I put black in there for my notes. So now the neat thing is, let's say that this was one of those questions where I can enter my answer. This one doesn't, but let's say it had a box there and I can enter my answer. All I have to do is right click and say copy my notes. In this case, I just have my answer, and I can go ahead and paste it. If I had, obviously if I had a box there, paste it, Control V, right click, paste my answer in there, and log in without ever having to touch my keyboard, other than, if I want to use the keys to copy and paste. Now, isn't that cool? All right, let's go on here because I want you to see blah, 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 blah. Options, I believe it is. And you can keep the password safe on top all the time by saying, checking this box. Otherwise, what happens is when you go back and forth, you're going to have to jump back and forth, and I don't like that. So personally, I have it set so that when I do the display, I want it to be on top all the time, and you can even change the way it looks. As you can see up here in options, you can change the icons and all that good stuff. So down the tray it'll be yellow or whatnot, but when you close this software, when you hit close, it doesn't actually close. It just jumps down into the tray, and it's sitting there for you to recall it again. And after a little while, it locks. Okay, it will lock, and you're going to have to unlock it using your key. That's so that if you walk away, somebody doesn't start messing around with your database and start using your passwords. You can lock it yourself. It's really easy. You just right click the icon, hit lock safe. So let's say you're using this on your work machine and you don't want somebody to sit down at your keyboard and start using your stuff. You can lock the safe, and then you have to come back and put your password in again to restore your open safe. So I hope this helps you. I highly encourage people to start using it. pwsafe.org. You can get the Android apps by going there, clicking on those, and it should open up the Play Store and the App Store on your device. If not, you can actually push those to your devices by going to the actual stores in the links on a website on a computer. And you can actually log into your account and push it onto your device from there, which I think is pretty amazing. What else was... Oh, yeah, I think it's easiest... I'm just going to close these down. I think it's easiest to create your file on the computer, and then I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and then email that file to yourself. So you create your big database. You can always edit it on the phone. You can always edit it on... You could create the whole thing on your phone and on your device as well, but sitting at a keyboard just makes it easier. You can create your file sitting at a computer, save it, and then email yourself. That's what I suggest, unless you have a file transfer protocol, which you know how to use. But if you don't, it's easy to just email that file to yourself, save it to your device from your email, and then open it up by tapping on it. It should open the default program on your device. So in my particular case, I use Android. I can save it and download it. Not double click it, tap it in downloads, and it'll open password safe as long as I've installed it already. Just make sure you install it before you try to open the file, or it's going to say, sorry, I don't know how to open this file. And it'll all be there, because it's going to ask you for that same code to open the safe. So you enter your code, the safe will open, and the apps actually work very similarly to what I'm doing here on the computer. It's just normally just a whole, you have to long press to get your extra menus, or you can hit the little menu bar up and get the extra menus to copy the username and notes and password and everything. So I hope this has helped someone, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them.